Hey, I'm Jane. Thanks for taking the time and checking this out. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this now. I was teaching this morning, and the topic that came up is something that I want to share because I was like, this is serving this group and myself, then it's probably for the greater good. So, putting it out there. So, I was talking about how these we get born, right? We enter this air breathing realm as this perfect being. And our society, our parents, our religion, our school starts to put us in this box, right? This box of you must be a certain way, you must act a certain way, you got to move a certain way, you got to produce a certain way. This is how you emote, this is how you be in the world. And by doing that, it's like we're almost like these like big, beautiful light orbs floating around. And then this box kind of starts to confine us in. And in that time, we're trying to be something that we're not. We're trying to be this idea, this ideal that others gave to us because it's the right way to be. So a lot of times I feel like while we're in that box, we're in this crazy turmoil kind of space. We're just like beating ourselves up like, oh, if I were only better, I could be out of this box. Or if I were better, if I fit this box so perfectly, then I would finally be happy, and I'm not. You know, I'm in this box, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do according to my lineage or the society or whatever, and I'm not happy. And so when we're in this box, we're not feeling happy about it. We tend to hurt ourselves. So for me personally, like I spent a lot of my life distracting through like drugs and alcohol and relationships and television. Like I was so distracting myself because I couldn't deal with the person that I was supposed to be in this box, this framework. So over the years, it's almost like I've like disassembled the box. For me personally, I just like took that whole box and was like, oh, I shook it off and was left with this whole shit moment of like feeling totally naked and unsupported. And so anyway, so we tend to like remove these parts of this box, these labels that we've been given or that we've chosen to take on as our own because we want to fit this ideal of what is right. And so now after I like removed my box, we get to create a new box. It's our personality. It's the way we show ourselves, the way we express ourselves, the way we show up in the world. And in that space, you know, there's a lot more freedom, and we put our own labels on it. And so we're creating this new system around us, a new framework in which we live by, a new set of boundaries, a new set of a new space in which I can grow. And I'm finding it really interesting because, you know, like as I've removed the old box, and then put on this new box, right? This new label, I'm not a hairstylist anymore. I'm a community engagement director, and I'm a spiritual guide, and I unite people in love. To go from serving the elite white community in my town to being of service to all beings everywhere, they're very different ways of being. And so a lot of people who had seen me in that old box don't understand who I am now. Now, granted, I've gotten a lot more people in my life that are more congruent and in alignment with this new label that I've given myself. Those who helped me create that old box and way of being, the serving of the elite, really that super program situation, you know, the society that helped me build that framework, and the religions that helped me build that framework, and the media that really helped me build that framework. You know, those beings and those entities and those people that helped me build that old box, those that aren't in alignment with that, like they've literally fallen away with that box because they don't understand necessarily, or they don't agree with, whatever, the new box that I am now living in, right? The new vessel, the new framework, the new reality that I am living in. And it's really interesting too, because as I've created this new framework around me, this new box, this new personality, those that are in alignment with that are helping me build this framework, build this system, and help me tend to it so that I can make sure that I have enough space to move, that I am nourished, and because it's me creating it, like these are all the things that I want in my life. Like I want to be of service, and I want the whole world to be united in love and compassion and acceptance and creativity. Like it's just, I don't know, I think it'd be great. But I'm noticing that as these are the labels that I am choosing for myself, that this box doesn't feel so confining. It doesn't feel like I'm going to fail as easily because it's my life. It's my box that I'm playing in, my game, my path that I'm creating in front of myself. And anything that's not in alignment with this now framework of me doesn't match, or it's falling away. And if I do something in my life that's not in alignment with this new version of me, it comes up real quickly and it's like, look at me! I'm gonna make your belly hurt. I'm gonna give you headache. So that I get to like look at it and not just like toss it away. Oh, some of the things I gotta toss away. But a lot of the other things, if they're still coming up, it's because they have some deep-seated remnants in my mental body or my emotional body, my physical body, maybe my spiritual body. But you know, my intention is to have all of these bodies work in tandem with each other so that as I'm like moving around my little box of goodness, that I'm moving freely and easily and comfortably. So anyway, so when these things come up, if they're not in alignment with one of these bodies, I get to clear it out in the way that literally clears it out. So for example, something came up for me recently that was... it brought up an old experience that I had that included emotional and physical abuse. And the person that was reflecting this back to me was just being themselves. Like they didn't do anything weird or wrong, but the way that they expressed themselves to me made me feel and remember all of this old experience that I had. They triggered me. Whatever. Words. So they brought this to light and I was like, ooh, like it literally, I felt it in my stomach. I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my throat. My head started to hurt. So I knew that I still had some physical holdings of this situation, this trauma. I knew that it had an effect still on my mental body because I couldn't let the thought go of like, why did they do this? And like this loopity talk. So I was like, okay, well, there's something still in my mental body. And I could tell by my physical body's reaction that it was because my emotional body still had a lot of healing around this trauma, this experience that I had had. So I brought it to this person's awareness. I was like, hey, like just a heads up. You know, I didn't realize I still had some remnants of this old box, you know, and I would like your support in helping me clear it out. Brought it to their awareness, and luckily they were super awesome and like, yeah, like whatever I need to do, like I'll support you, and that's great, perfect. But I realized for me to actually like communicate that with this person was really kind of going through that old box remnant that I was like, I feel like the Hulk, and those pieces really just they just dissolved. And so that I feel more like I am in my path, my truth, my purpose, still honoring me and all the things that I'm putting around myself and the labels that I am choosing. So I wanted to bring that up because I feel like we had this huge surge of energy within the past few days that was very enlivening, very enlivening and grounding and very activating. And I feel like when that happens, we get a really great opportunity to look at ourselves and to be really honest with ourselves and ask, like, one, is this in alignment with my heart? Like, is this in alignment with love? Yay or nay, there's a good answer there. And also to ask ourselves, like, this path that I'm on, these choices that I'm making, are they in alignment for me, what I really want? Or am I doing this, saying this, being this way, whatever, am I behaving this way, am I thinking this way, because it's what I'm supposed to do, because it's in alignment with what the parents told me I had to do, or what my culture told me I had to do, or what my religion told me I had to do so that I would be good enough and accepted. And if they may be the same, it might be like, yeah, my religion told me to do this, and I love that it told me to do this, and it feels so good for me to do this, so yeah, totes. But at that point, you're wearing your own labels and just being able to keep some of the same words. So I think now's a really good time to look at our thoughts, our words, and our actions, and just be real honest with ourselves. Like, is this in alignment with my highest self? Is this in alignment with my highest good? Is this in alignment to serve all beings everywhere so that we all may be happy, liberated, free, joyful, all the things? The Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu mantra that I live by. Asking ourselves, is this going to enhance my well-being and the well-being of the earth as a whole? And these are really big questions that require really big potential actions. And I think that can be really scary. That being said, I feel like the way everything is in alignment and lining up in the universe and the cosmos, like, now's the time. I feel like we're at this crescendo, this tipping point where I can see so clearly. I don't know if anyone else has been like seeing this or feeling this, but I see us being at this tipping point where the earth can, helicopter, weird, anyway, that the earth can be this beautiful, lush, green, abundant, this lush, living organism that we get to live upon. Where things are growing and moving about freely, and the wind is blowing, and there's not like trash bags blowing with it. It's just the wind being the pure wind self, rustling the leaves and the plants. And the waters being clear, and the animals thriving, and people of all colors and nationalities and cultures that like are together, eating, breaking bread, communing, and being supportive of each other. I see that. That's that new earth. That's the fifth dimensional reality. It's very real. We are living it. We just get to step into it with very clear, definitive, actionary steps. And I also see the other side of this other tipping point, where the 20,000 satellites get put up into this cosmos, completely obscuring our view of the place from which we come. We are made of the stars. We are galactic beings. We're in the galaxy. We're floating in the middle of space on a planet. Anyway, these satellites obscuring our view of our cosmic heaven, blocking us from a lot of the solar energy and the moon energy that would literally be coming down into our atmosphere, into our spiritual and energetic subtle bodies, preventing us, because of the energy that these satellites bring in, preventing us from actually living that free life without that tight, confined box. It's literally like putting a metal hovering container around the earth. It really is not good for our DNA. It's not good for our brain. It's not good for our physical body, our spiritual body, our energetic body, our mental body. It's really just like not good for us at all. I see that the potential for both, and both are extremely real right now. Both are so real right now. The only thing that's going to make a difference on which one we actually get to experience and live in is through our choice and our action. You know, we can envision it, but we got to do something about it. You know, like whether that means like stop using the motherfucking plastic shit. You know, turn off the water when you're not using it. Turn off the lights when you're not using it. You know, pretend that everything is a gift, and not that it's in lack mentality and like I need to turn the lights out because there's not enough. But like I love it so much that I want to savor it. You know, I want to savor the lights, you know, and turn them on, and I want to turn them off and savor and take care. You know, just because my body can go run a marathon, that's a crazy thing that I've done. You know, just because I can doesn't mean that I need to just, you know, go and just do it and just do it. You know, there's this build up to it. It's kind of like the same thing when we conserve. You know, we conserve our energy so we can use it. And we've grown up in this culture where it's just, there's no conservation, there's no stewardship, there's no care, there's no compassion. So we're at this tipping point where this care and this compassion literally is flooding into our entire vessel, into this box, this framework that we're consciously creating, each of us. And we get to do something about it. We get to treat ourselves as if we matter. We get to remember that we matter. We get to remember that we're God's sources in human bodies, and that every other person is too, no matter how they're expressing themselves. If they're acting like grumble butt turd burglars, they're still gods in a human body. They're just not expressing love and compassion. They're expressing perhaps the anger and frustration that they're still feeling because they're still in that old box that they were told that they had to be in so that they can be good enough or happy. But we don't feel good enough and we don't feel happy if we're always trying to be the ideal of someone else's standards. Because someone else's standards, when they're telling us what to be and how to be, they're in struggle trying to be that in the first place. And so they are just projecting onto everyone else how we all should be to divert the attention from them because they are not feeling good enough or joyful, even though they are in their box so perfectly. So I wanted to hop on here and share that this is a big time for us to redefine who we are, to do it very boldly and bravely, and that it's okay to do it in the name of love or whatever word you use, whether it's God, source, creator, the universe, the is of all that is, or the vast nothing of anything that ever was. But to do it in the name of, to do our life in the name of. Do we do our life in the name of freedom? Do we do our life in the name of love, in the name of compassion, just in the name of creativity? The name, that's according to the Bible, right? It all started with the Word of God. It's the Om, it's a sound. It's doing it in the name of, and being so brave and so bold to be able to say that this is the word from which I stand. You know, I do it in the name of whatever. You know, if you do it in the name of hate and of greed and of lack, then good job. You're doing it. And if that makes you feel good and alive and loved and like you're one of the oneness, you know, then okay. But I think this is a really good time to look inward and to really dive in and make the choice. Like, yeah, you know what? I don't need this anymore. It's not in service. It's not going to be easy. Maybe it's going to be really fucking hard. And that's okay. And because there is so much ease that comes in it because we get more attuned to nature, right? Our natural state of being is in the name of love. It's literally this cadence of the universe. It's this ebb and flow of nature. So when we can go into this inward space, we attune to not just nature in earth form, but we tune to nature in like earthling form. And wherever we go, we tend to find our tribes, our communities. We click in wherever we go. We find our communities in multiple locations, as opposed to being in this predestined box, that patriarchal paradigm that's really just outdated and it's not even cute anymore. And ain't nobody want to wear that shit. But when we align with that, like we just, I was going to say something else, but I just thought about it just doesn't even feel good. you know, it feels like stress and like hate. It just doesn't feel like love. It feels like judgment. It feels like duality. You know, there's no separation. We are all one. We're one, 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 and we all get to be in one unique body to reflect back to everybody else what this one looks like, what this one sounds like, what this one feels like, what this personality gets to be expressed as in the box that I am consciously creating from my heart in the name of, for me, love. So I put this out there as a question. If you want to answer it, you could comment. What do you live your life in the name of? You know, what are you doing to be, what part of that tipping point are you going to jump in on? Are you going to jump in on the fear and the lack that doesn't do anything or that fights about it? Or are you going to be on the tipping point of this beautiful, clean, abundant earth with stewardship and love at the helm? And what action steps will you take on either of those aspects? No right or wrong. If you're like, yeah, I want to have 20,000 satellites up in the sky, because I mean there are only like 1,700 now, so 20,000 is going to be like a massive difference. Highly encourage everyone like checking this information out so that we can take the actionary steps to stay in the alignment of the side that we want to be tipping toward. So that we can take action to be in alignment with the new labels that we're giving ourselves, with the new framework that we're giving ourselves, with the new personalities that we're sharing and showing to the world. So that's one of my questions is, what are you doing? How are you living your life in the name of what? And what are you doing as we are at this tipping point? Yeah, those are my questions, actually. So I'll hop off here. Thanks for taking the time to check this out. If there's any clearings that you need, like that box that you're like, apparently I have more of this box left on me that I don't want anymore. Sometimes it's hard to see it because we've worn it for so long that we don't even know if it was given to us, if it was ours by our own doing or not. So if you have any remnants in your mental body, any thought loops in your physical body, maybe you keep having, a pain in one of your sides or a hip or a foot, because I'm really good at picking up physical wonky bits and finding the seed from which it came. If you have any guidance that you want for your spiritual path, maybe it's that you're on your path and you don't really know what it looks like. Maybe you feel alone. Maybe you've had to release religion, so you don't know how to embrace spirituality or how to communicate your new version of you, right? Because sometimes when you take off that old box, it's kind of like, how do I tell people what I am? Because I'm just now kind of like learning it for myself. So, because we still get to human on this ascension process. So if there's any assistance or support, reach out. It's my specialty, to guide your body, your mind, and your spirit in a full alignment in the name of love. So I hope that everyone is enjoying their nows. It is so surprisingly warm here. Like, it's kind of weird. I'm enjoying it and I'm grateful for it. I'm looking at the moon right now through the trees because she's out big time and the sun is yonder. I love looking up at the sky. I've noticed lately that the night sky has been clearer than I've ever remembered it being, especially where I live, because I live super duper close to the city, like real close, like downtown style. And I can see so many stars right above my home, and it's just so pleasing. Anyway, chin up, buttercup, keep your eye in the sky, see what's going on. But anyway, I hope that everyone's enjoying their nows. May you see the rest of this day with love and acceptance and compassion and creativity. And if there's anything that you need, reach out, please. There are links below. Bing! Otherwise, you can feel free to click the button that looks a lot like this. And you can share this with anyone that you may feel it would be of service for them to hear it. You can share this around the globe. You can do whatever. You can subscribe. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share. So enjoy this day, y'all. Namaste. Blessings. Peace out. Bye, y'all.